When a child covers their ears, squirms away from a hug, or hits a sudden meltdown, it's a physical reaction to an overwhelming environment. But as a parent, you don't have to wait for the environment to calm down. You can proactively build a targeted, physical space that gives your child control over their own nervous system. Today, we're going to create two specific things to achieve this: a dedicated sensory calm zone and a customized sensory toolkit bin. You don't need expensive gear to get started. Just gather a storage bin, some clear plastic bottles, dry rice or beans, and a few soft pillows. By curating these physical tools and keeping them readily available, you can turn unpredictable, chaotic moments into independent routines for self-regulation. Step 1 is assessing your child's specific sensory needs. If you skip this, you might provide the exact wrong tool for the moment. The graphic shows two main profiles. On the left, the sensory avoider avoids bright lights, loud noises, and scratchy tags. On the right, the sensory seeker craves constant movement, seeks deep physical pressure, and chews on pencils. It's important to know that a child can easily show a mix of both profiles, depending on the day. That's why we need to select a blended variety of tools. Now, let's build the foundation. Pick a low-traffic corner in your home. The first thing you must do is completely clear it of visual clutter and excess toys. Next, replace any harsh or fluorescent lighting with warm, dim light, and bring in soft seating like large floor pillows. Eliminating this environmental noise is a mandatory step. A messy, visually loud space will trigger the exact sensory overload we are trying to treat. With the physical zone prepared, we can start assembling the toolkit itself, beginning with items for visual and tactile regulation. First, let's make a calming sensory bottle. Take one of your clear bottles, fill it with a mix of water, baby oil, and a handful of glitter, and then seal the lid tightly. When a child watches the glitter slowly fall through the thick liquid, the visual tracking physically slows their breathing and induces relaxation. Next, create a tactile bin. Fill a small Tupperware container with dry beans or rice and hide small toys inside for your child to discover. You can supplement these DIY items with a few store-bought options, like chewy jewelry for children who need oral stimulation, or spinner rings to distract restless hands. These specific tools give a child a safe outlet to redirect their anxious energy and tactile cravings, keeping them engaged without being disruptive. For children who crave movement or physical grounding, we need to add full-body sensory input tools to the environment. Adding a weighted blanket provides proprioceptive input, meaning it applies deep pressure to the joints and muscles to ground and calm the nervous system. This photograph shows how you can incorporate vestibular input. A child draped over a large stability ball or sitting on a wobble cushion receives the continuous, gentle motion their body requires. To complete the toolkit, we have to add the structural elements, visual supports. Place a visual timer and a simple visual schedule on the wall, immediately next to where the toolkit bin sits. Visual timers are critical, especially for children with ADHD. They turn abstract time into a concrete visual, helping the child predict transitions and know exactly how long their movement break will last. By combining physical sensory inputs with predictable time boundaries, you create a structured regulatory environment where the child feels completely secure. Looking at this completed setup, we see how the warm lighting, active seating, and customized sensory bin function together as one cohesive zone. Because everything is organized and accessible, your child can intentionally step away from a stressful situation, grab the exact tool they need, and safely regulate on their own. As you use the space, continually observe your child. Their sensory needs will evolve, so be ready to swap out textures and tools to match their current profile. If you find that these home interventions aren't enough to curb daily disruptions, the next step is bringing this toolkit data to a pediatric occupational therapist to develop a formalized sensory diet. You now have the tangible knowledge to build a space that turns sensory chaos into calm.